just dropped a video saying, you know, like he's been doing in pretty much every single video, but lately he's been going after Bitcoin a little bit more because it had a pullback off of all-time highs. It had maxed out at 58,000, I believe, somewhere around 58,000, and then pulled back a bit under 50,000. So it showed a bit of volatility, or a lot of volatility. And right now, as I'm making this video, Bitcoin is currently, and I figured what better way to do a rebuttal to Peter Schiff, because I want to be able to debate him live. Figured what better way to do it than to just do a live stream on this, and we can talk about it. Actually just got done with a live stream, but I'm going to do another one just specifically on this topic because I wanted to watch that video, see what he had to say in the news. He was on the news talking about Bitcoin, how bad it was, this and that. Right now, Bitcoin has recovered back over 50,000, a number that Peter Schiff, I believe, said was impossible. I think he said that it was impossible for Bitcoin to get to 50,000. And then his own son went to his Twitter to remind him that it was over 50,000 and that what he had said prior to that. So it must be a little bit of a bummer when your own son is outperforming your fund. Your son's is outperforming your fund because he's been bullish on Bitcoin. But I made the thumbnail, a specific thumbnail on this video for a reason. I made it this thumbnail for a reason on a video I made 3 months ago. I made this video. I wrote it down over there. On November 17th, I made that video. I also made another video saying I disagreed with Peter Schiff on his Bitcoin argument. Prior to that, back when Bitcoin was about 10,000. So I made a video saying he was wrong about Bitcoin when it was 10,000. I made another video when it was at, I believe, 13,000. Then I tripled down on this third video on November 17th, and it was 17.6 at that time. 17,600 on Bitcoin. And that was that specifically. The reason I say that specific video is not only just to, you know, say, oh, I told you so, you know, let's get that out of the way. It's also because he commented. Peter Schiff himself, his verified checkmarked account, commented on that video, and I put that comment as the thumbnail for this video. I figured what better way to get Peter Schiff's attention. I have tried to reach out to him on Instagram. I've tried to reach out to him in prior videos, but he has not wanted to do a debate with me, and I would love to talk with him about that. But until that point, I'm going to talk about some of my points on why I think Peter Schiff is incorrect and has been incorrect and will continue to be incorrect. Just as incorrect as he was when he made that comment back when Bitcoin was 17,600 on November 17th. The actual thumbnail to this video is that comment. So if you like that, if you like putting that thumbnail, I'll put some effort into that. So if you like the thumbnail, please hit a thumbs up, but maybe wait till you hear my arguments here. The first thing I want to say about Bitcoin, well, the first argument I want to take apart is the idea of a gold-backed blockchain currency. So a gold-backed blockchain currency, as Peter Schiff has said he would be a fan of, a blockchain-based gold-backed currency. The problem with that is you are trusting a custodian to hold that gold. And you can really trust Brinks, or you can really trust whoever it is, but history repeats itself. And the reason why a gold-backed cryptocurrency, and I've made a video on this, is a bad idea, in my personal opinion, is because you have to store that gold somewhere. You don't have access to that gold. That gold is not in front of you. You are not a reserve bank. Someone else is a reserve bank. And also that reserve bank isn't going to allow you to hold your assets for free. They're going to charge you an interest rate to hold your assets. When you have your Bitcoin, like I have this hard wallet here, when you have your Bitcoin stored on that hard wallet, you are essentially storing your value there for no custodian charges. There is no depository charge. There's no 2% annual fee. And there is also, when you have your password, when you own your seed phrase, you own that Bitcoin. That Bitcoin isn't in a custodian's hand. You don't have to trust that that gold is legitimate and real and in that vault. You don't have to do independent audits. You can just look at your wallet, plug it in, check, and you know your Bitcoin is there, and you have full access to your funds to move it anywhere in the world whenever you want. It's a lot different than a gold-backed currency, because what happened last time when we trusted a custodian with the gold? They just stole it. That's what happened. It's kind of crazy to say it like that, you know, and this is just my opinion, not to be taken as fact or financial advice, just my opinion, disclaimer. But last time we trusted a custodian with the gold in 1971, they just said, Nah, we're going to keep it. That's what happened last time, and history tends to repeat itself. So that's why I love the idea. Basically, what Bitcoin is a password, a very fancy password, and that password is your money. If you memorize that password and you put that password in your head, you could take a hammer to this hard drive here, this flash or this hard wallet. You could take a hammer to it, break it, but you memorized your seed phrase in your head and you have your money still. You can just put it right back onto another cold storage hard wallet. It's pretty elegant the way that that works. Nobody can take away your money. You own it. It's in your head. You can memorize your seed phrase. You cannot memorize your gold. You have to own it, which I believe in owning physical precious metals. I'm a lot more bullish on silver and platinum than I am on gold. However, I wanted to state why a gold-backed blockchain-based currency, because blockchain really is the future. The checks and balances of blockchain and having it all on a ledger like that, that is the future. That is where we are going with our money. And if you don't believe me, they're making CBDCs. A CBDC is a central bank digital currency. They are looking to do that. They are looking to be digital. So we are going towards blockchain, and it is a very beautiful, elegant system, blockchain. But I do not believe in trusting a custodian. I would rather just own the physical precious metal. But I am much more of an advocate for silver and platinum. For all of the people on my channel that know me, I am very, very big on industrial precious metals. Ironically, something that Peter Schiff is starting to talk about because they have been wildly outperforming gold over the past 6 months. Silver is outperforming gold by a landslide. Platinum is outperforming gold by a landslide. And gold seems to be... And what is this gold used for? It would only be used for money. There is no real industrial purpose for gold, only very minor amounts of things that they use gold on, and it's usually just a luxury because you can use silver in replace of gold. You don't need to be using gold. It is far too expensive. So realistically, it's just for jewelry. And the central banks, who's to say they don't already own the gold? Most of the gold is already owned. Most of it is in vaults. A surprising statistic and why I am so bullish on silver and why I am a huge silver bull. And I'm kind of from a unique perspective here on this Bitcoin debate because I'm a big precious metals advocate. I love silver. Silver is my top holding. Platinum is my second top holding. With silver, though, most people don't realize this, but silver is far more rare above ground than gold. There is a ton of gold, pun intended, in the vaults right now because there's no real use for it other than being money. The reason why silver is so rare is because a lot of it's in the landfills. We might start mining landfills to get our silver because they use it that much in materials. They use it day in, day out in materials for everyday items that we use all the time. So would you rather be in a metal that is 8 times more rare? Remember, there's 8 times more gold above ground than there is silver. There's more silver below ground, but there is far more gold above ground than there is silver. And that's a very surprising statistic that people don't tend to realize. It is not only far more rare above ground, but it is also not widely taken in by the central banks in the same way that gold is. You know, who really controls the gold? To those that think, you know, Bitcoin is something that can be controlled by hedge funds or whatever it might be, who really controls the gold? Who really owns the gold? Do we see institutions buying the gold? Who is in control of the majority of the gold is a question I would want to ask. Maybe Peter, I would like to ask him that. Who has most of the gold? And why is gold less rare above ground than silver? And what industrial purpose do you see gold being fit for in the future as well? The next thing I want to talk about, this is my next point, is there was a time not too long ago when Carl Icahn went to eBay and said, hey, eBay, we think that you are undervaluing PayPal. We think you're undervaluing PayPal. We think PayPal is worth a lot more than you are suppressing it to be. So we would like for you to spin off PayPal. I know PayPal is your baby. We know you bought it, you know, for $1.5 billion off of Elon Musk and the whole PayPal crowd. But we want you to spin it off, right? They did that. And I got a point here for this. eBay spun off PayPal and PayPal became its own stock, its own public traded stock. What happened there? Because it's very telling for the future of Bitcoin. And it's very telling for intrinsic value for this said purpose. Well, eBay spun off PayPal. eBay became worth roughly 30 to 40 billion, right? I think it's 43 billion right now or 42 billion right now on its market cap. And then PayPal became a $310 billion monster company. So remember, eBay bought PayPal for 1.5 billion to be its little baby company within the main company. Carl Icahn got them to spin off PayPal so he could make a fortune off of it because he's a great activist investor. They spun off PayPal, and then PayPal became worth major multiples more than eBay. 400 billion or 40 billion versus over $300 billion for PayPal. So what does that tell you? People want a way to transact online. They don't want a central body. They don't want an auction house where they have to pay them 10% and they have to pay them all their fees. They would rather operate peer-to-peer and just have the payment processor. It is a very, very staggering thing. And I'm surprised Michael Saylor hasn't talked about this, or some of the other guys out there haven't talked about this, because for me, it is extremely eye-opening to study the history of what happened when eBay spun off PayPal. Because what is PayPal? It's an escrow. It's Jim wants to send Bob money online. We need somebody to hold the escrow. That's what we need here, right? And that value that PayPal brings, you would think that eBay was the more valuable thing because it was their little baby company, right? No, they spun off PayPal and it outgrew eBay by It outgrew eBay by multiples. So 40 billion versus over 300 billion, just throwing rough numbers out there for eBay versus PayPal. And it's very, very telling. And I wanted to bring that up because obviously people want a way to transact peer-to-peer and they want to do it with less fees. They are willing to do it around eBay. They are going to make their Shopifys. They're going to make their online websites. They're going to sell things on social media. They're going to do whatever they can to save themselves that 10% fee that eBay is charging. They want less fees. And that is very relevant to the banking system as a whole. I mean, PayPal, there's a reason why PayPal started adopting Bitcoin, because they needed to get with the times or they're going to get lost. They're going to get left in the dust if they don't get in with the times. You know, Cash App was adopting it big time. And now they saw Cash App as not that much of a competitor. And then now all of a sudden, Cash App's looking like a major competitor to PayPal. So you have major competition happening and they are all adopting Bitcoin. I don't see them adopting gold. Do you see Cash App adopting gold? Do you see PayPal adopting gold? Do you see any major institutions really adopting gold? Do you hear about Tesla buying $1.5 billion of gold? It's not happening. It's not happening. And the majority of it is just in vaults, sitting in vaults, and where it's always been. So the first thing is, I don't think a gold-backed crypto or any gold-backed blockchain-based currency would work, because you are trusting a custodian, and it'd be much nicer to just have the gold right in front of you. It's not very hard to own gold. You know, this is 20 ounces of gold, about $38,000 worth of gold, 37, 38. And it's right there, and you can have it in your hands. You don't need to put it on a blockchain, and you don't need that. That's not something that's necessary, because at the end of the day, you have to trust somebody. When you own your Bitcoin, you own your Bitcoin. You have full control of it. You can send all of it. You can send a little bit of it. You can do whatever you want when you have your Bitcoin on a cold storage wallet. Nobody is holding that Bitcoin for you. You are not trusting any custodian. You have full control of your money whenever you want to have control of it. Now, in vice versa, you know, with gold, you have to trust some Brink service or whatever the custodian might be, that gold is there, the gold is tested, the gold is authentic, and it is within the vault. Are we going to do an audit every week? You're going to do an audit every day? You're going to do an audit every month? How is that going to work? And are we going to run into a situation where the custodian runs off with the gold like they did last time we trusted them with it? Very scary. The next thing I want to talk about was, if you think that Bitcoin is a zero, Peter Schiff doesn't just say Bitcoin is going down. Peter Schiff says it is a zero. that there is no value in Bitcoin's network at all. It is a complete zero. It is a scam. It is a Ponzi scheme. It is nothing. Pretty wild to say that, because looking at what happened with PayPal and eBay, it is very obvious that people put a value on the ability to move money online and have some sort of escrow of a way to move your capital quick and efficiently online, and how to store your capital online. So with that being said, people that use PayPal are also sometimes very nervous to use PayPal, because they have the right within PayPal's actual framework to hold your money for 180 days if they need to check things with your account. They can freeze your assets for up to 180 days. You are again trusting a bank to be holding your assets. You know, they make money off of your money being within their bank. They're making interest. They're doing things with your capital. So it's a very scary situation, because it is still operating off of fiat currency. It is still technically a bank. And so there's two things to think about there. The first one is people want a way to transact online, and they are willing to do anything to pay less fees, which means getting away from eBay, getting away from Amazon, getting away from any type of body that wants to take fees out of your sales. They don't want to pay eBay 10%. They would rather just transact peer-to-peer. They'd rather get to know their client, trust their client, and transact peer-to-peer or amongst their friends. That's what they want. That's what the people want: less fees and the ability to transact online. It's very telling to see PayPal become worth $300 billion when it's the baby of eBay, and eBay getting left in the dust at $40 billion, while PayPal jumps to $310 billion and counting. Very, very telling. And Bitcoin does everything that PayPal does, but you're not paying 3% to move your money in Bitcoin. You're paying the network on a sliding scale. It's so brilliant the way that Bitcoin has a network established that you can pay less if you don't care about your money getting there within a week. It can get there within a day or two. If you don't care about how long it takes your Bitcoin to move through the network, you can pay way less than 3%, way less than 3% that PayPal is charging. Or if you want it to move very quick, you're still not going to pay 3%. I've been playing around with the hard wallets and moving it, and seeing that was such a eye-opening moment for me with Bitcoin, and why I became even more bullish on Bitcoin when I realized how efficient the network can be, and how brilliant the sliding scale of paying the network more money based on how fast you want your transfer to go. It's pretty brilliant. It's pretty brilliant. So all in all, people just want less fees. They want less people digging in their pockets trying to take their money for their exchanges online. And if you see anything, and this is something I'm surprised Chamath hasn't brought this up, Michael Saylor hasn't brought this up, nobody has seemed to bring this point up about PayPal. It's very eye-opening seeing how much PayPal has outgrown eBay. And I think that is all even more telling that people are going to want to continue to adopt Bitcoin, because they have full control of their capital. They don't have to ask any favors of anybody, and they can send it whenever they want to whoever they want, whenever they want. Gives you far more power of your assets, of your money, to have it in a hard wallet, because you're a reserve bank. The second you have all of your Bitcoin in a hard wallet, you are now a reserve bank. You have full control of your funds, and nobody else is storing it for you. You don't need to trust anybody. You have it. All you need to trust is that you're smart enough to memorize your seed phrase, or to hide your seed phrase in a place where only you know where it is. That's really the only thing you need to trust, is your own self. It's in your hands. And if you're smart enough to remember how to write the wallet down right, and not mess up the different combinations or the different copy and paste the wallets appropriately. So those were the main points I want to talk about. The next thing about the network. Now, this was the eureka moment for me with the network with Bitcoin. I had asked somebody, I said, what happens when 21 million coins are mined? What happens when 21 million coins are mined? Do we just shut down the computers? Is it just over at that point? How does it work? The answer to that was the eye-opening moment for me. Everybody has some sort of eye-opening moment with Bitcoin. And excuse me, that was the eye-opening moment for me, because they said, no, you don't shut down the computers. The computers continuously mine because they are rewarded in fractional amounts of Bitcoin for doing the transactions. So it's like, you mean to tell me there is a network in place that is decentralized with miners all across the world that are willing to be paid in Bitcoin so that you can move your Bitcoin and verify it with proof of work to another party. And they will be compensated in fractional amounts of Bitcoin for being the wire transfer service, so to speak. Wow, that's brilliant. So this is the counter to Peter Schiff's argument on when he says, there's no value in Bitcoin. That's the first thing he says. It's just a scam with zero value. Last time I checked, a network is very valuable in today's world. What is YouTube? It's a network. What is, PayPal? It's a network of payments that people can work with each other. They all know what PayPal is. What is Instagram? These are all networks. Networks are very, very valuable. And here we have a decentralized network that is willing to be compensated in Bitcoin for all the electrical costs that they have, all the computational costs that they have. They are willing to go through that to be compensated in Bitcoin. So the argument also from Peter Schiff is, what happens? There's going to be another Bitcoin overnight. There's going to be another Bitcoin overnight. They're trying, Peter. They're trying very hard, and it's not working. Thousands of altcoins. They are trying. It's not like there's Bitcoin with no competition and one might pop up tomorrow. It's like, no. They've been trying. They've been trying very hard. So that argument holds zero water at all. But the reason they have been trying and failing is because, just like with gold, just like when you have a gold miner, you're not going to convince a gold miner to start mining for, some random cobalt or whatever, some other metal in their mine. They're like, no, we're set up to mine gold and we get paid in gold. We like gold. So you're not going to convince your gold miner to all of a sudden shift into some random other metal when they've been used to mining for gold. In the same way, this mining system has been mining Bitcoins, and they don't want to change that. They want to get paid in the coin that has the largest network, has the most established blockchain, and is the most expensive. They want to get paid in the Bitcoin they want to get paid in the cryptocurrency that is being bought 1.5 billion by Tesla, that is being held in over 3 billion, I believe Michael Saylor holds within his company. They want to mine that one. They're not looking to mine an altcoin. They want to mine Bitcoin. And that's why the blockchain is the most established and the most secure of any blockchain by a landslide. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. They own roughly 80% of all the cryptocurrency market cap. So of all the cryptocurrencies out there, roughly 80% of it is Bitcoin. Just a rough figure. But yeah, they're winning by a landslide with Bitcoin, and the mining system is where the value is. The decentralized network that is willing to be paid in fractional amounts of Bitcoin to process these transactions, it's elegant. The system is elegant, and I think it is completely foolish to look at a system like that has a roughly $1 trillion valuation and then consider it to be worthless. It's like, what? How do you consider that to be worthless? And then there's the other argument, well, Bitcoin's consuming too much electricity and it's bad for the environment. And in the beginning, probably yes. Probably yes, you're right. The question becomes, are we going to get more solar-based? Are we going to have more battery-based societies where it's solar panels to battery packs and all of that? I would imagine our energy, we're changing with the times with energy. I mean, if I was Elon Musk right now, let's just, on a side note, if I was Elon Musk and I had access to a solar panel company, a battery company, and I knew energy better than anybody else in the world, and I had gigafactories, are you guys putting this together with me? It's like, wouldn't you want to build mining operations if you were Elon Musk right now? He could have some stuff up his sleeve. Elon Musk, him buying 1.5 billion in Bitcoin and then out of nowhere being like, I don't know so much about Bitcoin. Seems like it's a little high. He did it with his own stock, by the way. And what happened last time? What happened last time Elon Musk said his stock was high? Wasn't it 420 at that time? Wasn't it way beneath 1,000 prior to the 5-to-1 stock split? That happened in his own stock. So he likes to play games, Elon Musk. And I have a feeling that he's got something up his sleeve, because you don't just buy 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin and then say it's overvalued the next day. I think there's something up there. And I think Peter Schiff on his last video took that out of context. You know, he took it out of context as if Elon Musk wants gold. If Elon Musk wanted gold, he would have bought gold, not Bitcoin, Peter. But no, he bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin publicly. He didn't buy 1.5 billion worth of gold. He didn't say anything about gold. But I don't care so much about people's words. I care about their actions. You know, Elon Musk is talking fun and games on his Twitter and whatnot, and he's always been like that. He is the meme lord of Twitter. But what are the actions? The actions are Michael Saylor talked with Elon Musk, and then suddenly Tesla acquires a 10% of their treasury. They acquired a $1.5 billion position in Bitcoin. So I'm more about the actions. You know, I don't see Michael Saylor selling his Bitcoin. They're all wanting to hold their Bitcoin, and they want to leverage against that Bitcoin like it's an asset. They don't want to buy Bitcoin to sell it. You know, a lot of people are buying things to sell it. Not so many people are buying Bitcoin to sell it. Then you look at people like Cathie Wood from ARK Invest, who has a $500,000 target on Bitcoin. I remember Cathie Wood, and this is very relevant. This is very relevant with Peter Schiff and Bitcoin, because ironically enough, he's on news. You know, he's trying to get on CNBC. He's trying to get on the news sites to bash Bitcoin because it brings him clout. At this point, Peter Schiff is really against Bitcoin strictly for the clout. And I'm going to prove that in my next statement. But I remember when Jim Chanos and Andrew Left, notable short sellers from Citron, and I think Chanos owns like Kainikos and Associates. They were on CNBC every single day, it seemed like, to bash on Tesla. Oh, it's going bankrupt. It's going bankrupt. It's nothing. You know, it's a terrible company. It's a zero. Just like Peter Schiff, it's a zero, right? Cathie Wood smiles on CNBC when Tesla was like 200 or 300 a share prior to the stock split, and says, I think it's going to 4,000. You know, and they laughed at her. They gave her such a hard time. What happened? Tesla did hit 4,000. When it was over 800 times 5, because there was a 5-to-1 stock split, 4,000. Cathie Wood was correct, way ahead of schedule on it. And you don't see too much of Jim Chanos anymore. Just like when Bitcoin skyrocketed. I mean, Peter Schiff went and commented on my video kind of in a passive-aggressive, nice-ish passive-aggressive way, saying, I hope your channel does better than Bitcoin. In the end, I hope your channel does better than Bitcoin. The channel has grown quite a bit since that day, and so has Bitcoin. Bitcoin was 17,600. Now it is 50,000 just 3 months later. But what's so ironic is it falls just 8,000 off its all-time high, and Peter Schiff now starts being more vocal and trying to get on news, talking and bashing on Bitcoin even more so. So, you know, it's odd. You know, are we going to see Bitcoin go to 120,000 and fall down to 100,000, and then Peter Schiff feels confident again to go on news? Is that what's going to happen? Because that's what just happened. He said Bitcoin would never get over 50,000, and now he's bashing on Bitcoin, feeling confident because it fell from 58,000 to 50,000, and it's holding back over 50,000, it looks like. So what the relevancy to Tesla and the short sellers of Tesla and Cathie Wood saying, you know, I think they're wrong, and I think Tesla's 4,000, and I think it's worth a lot more than the short sellers do. Well, Cathie Wood also slapped a $500,000 price prediction on Bitcoin in the near future. I wouldn't really bet against Cathie Wood. You know, based on the performance of gold over the past 6 months, I would bet against Peter Schiff. But I wouldn't bet against Cathie Wood. Her returns are pretty strong. Same thing with Chamath Palihapitiya. Same thing with Raoul Pal. Same thing with Michael Saylor. It's very important to look up people's past. You know, Jim Chanos is right every 12 years, 15 years. And then when he's right, he's just very vocal about it. And he's just, oh, I called out Enron. I called out this. I called out, you know, all this stuff. Or Valent Pharmaceuticals. I called out these different things. But when he's wrong, they just hide. You don't see Jim Chanos on CNBC anymore, do you? He's just hiding. He's got nothing to say. The guy lost so much money shorting Tesla, it's ridiculous. So Guys like Peter Schiff that are so anti-Bitcoin, as they are proven more and more wrong, eventually they will get quiet and more quiet. But Peter Schiff now is just using this for clout. And the reason why he's using this for clout and how I can prove he's using this for clout is Bitcoin is just a $1 trillion valuation, roughly a $1 trillion valuation. Gold is a 10 trillion roughly valuation. So gold is roughly 10x the market size or market cap of Bitcoin. These are not competitors, Peter. They're not competitors. They are both decentralized assets. They are not fiat currency. They're far different than that. So to constantly, it's like there's an ant in the room. I talked about this in the live feed. It's like there's an elephant in the room, which is hundreds and 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 hundreds of trillions of dollars of fiat currency. All of this diluted money out there. And rather than focusing on just how diluted and crazy it is of a system that we have, Peter Schiff is bashing on the little $1 trillion thing in the corner that is really fighting on the same team. Like, how foolish is that? Like, really? You have a $1 trillion thing in the corner that's like, hey, I think I can really help process transactions online and store your capital online. No, 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 gold. You're trying to fight with gold and this and that. They want competition. No. There is over a quadrillion of printed fiat currency out there. It's like, that is a real term, quadrillion. Hundreds and 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 hundreds of trillions of dollars. And you're busy, Peter Schiff, bashing on the $1 trillion thing over there. Like, what? What? You are simply doing this for clout and the fact that your son outperformed your own capital holdings. Your son outperformed your actual fund. And I think you're bummed about that. And you're also enjoying the clout that Bitcoin has brought you, because to focus as much as you focus and let Bitcoin get so far and deep under your skin, it's so ironic because a lot of the Bitcoin guys are like, yeah, I want to hold some of my money too. And it's ironic because, oh, wait, Peter Schiff accepts Bitcoin for gold. You can pay for gold in Bitcoin where Peter Schiff. Like, wait a minute, what is that? You can go to your website, you can buy gold. Busy bashing on precious metals. They feel like they're part of the same team. They usually feel like they're part of the same team, especially when it comes to industrial metals that aren't gold. When it comes to silver and platinum, especially from me having my own pulse on the situation being in the precious metals business, I can tell you a lot of people in Bitcoin are going, wow, I've made a lot of money on Bitcoin. I still love my Bitcoin. I want to hold my Bitcoin, but I don't mind having some silver. That'd be awesome. So are you damaging your own business, Peter? Because realistically, the entire cryptocurrency space is less than 2 trillion. It's less than 2 trillion. Bitcoin around 1 trillion, but no, far less than 2 trillion. I think it's like 1.4 trillion, 1.3 trillion on the entire cryptocurrency market cap. And you're busy bashing on that. It's like, what about the hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars of money out there? Should we focus more on that? Or is that not bringing you enough clout, Peter? Is that not bringing you enough clout? Do you have to go and make titles? Bitcoin is this, Bitcoin is that in your podcast, and then have your little advertisements in there for whatever earbuds or whatever you're trying to sell everybody in your audience? Is it really that important, Bitcoin, or is it something that is bringing awareness to fiat currency to the youth of the world? Is it something that is bringing awareness out there towards what the gold standard used to be, what money used to be? It's actually making this whole audience of people that didn't even know about fiat currency, didn't even know about the gold standard, and it's bringing awareness. Not only that, but it is such a beautiful and elegant network that's in place. There is intrinsic value in a network. And last time I checked, I don't think I'm nearly as intelligent as Michael Saylor or Chamath Palihapitiya or Kathy Wood or Raoul Paul or, there's so many major billionaires, major intellectuals that are advocates of Bitcoin and the blockchain network that it's established. It's wild to me that at least you gotta give Peter credit that he's doubling down over and over and over again. At this point, when you really understand just how small and tiny Bitcoin is and how huge of a pie, I mean, we're talking about the tiniest, talking about a grain of sand on the beach. That's what Bitcoin is in comparison to the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of fiat printed money out there. it's a grain of sand on the beach in comparison. So why all this focus on bashing Bitcoin? Why not say, hey, I think it's really awesome that there are more people understanding what money should be, more people that want to be a reserve bank, more people that are sick and tired of getting 0.01% interest rates from their bank, giving free loans to their bank. You know, more people that are scared of trusting somebody to hold their metals in a depository and would rather know that I have control of my money. I don't have to trust anybody. I don't have to do any independent audits. I have my money. So these are all things that I wanted to talk about because Peter won't agree to a debate because I've tried to hit him up on Instagram, tried to contact him. I've done 3 separate videos on why I think Peter Schiff is wrong. This is actually the 4th one. The other 3 were prior to Bitcoin being 20,000. The latest one I did, it was at 17,000. Then there was one at 13,000 and one at 10,000. All of them are time stamped. The one that he commented on was November 17th. And now he's just like Jim Chanos, just like Jim Chanos was, very vocal when there was a little bit of a pullback on Tesla, first to go and bash on it on CNBC. We see Peter Schiff, who has been incredibly wrong in the same way that Jim Chanos was incredibly wrong with Tesla. Ironically, he's using Elon Musk's name for cloud as well. And I'm guilty of it as well. But what is the point of bashing on Bitcoin when there's an elephant in the room and you're busy bashing on an ant? It's a grain of sand on the beach in comparison to all the fiat currency out there. And that's what you should be focusing your time and energy on, Peter. And, none of these institutions are really buying gold. They're buying Bitcoin. So there's got to be something to it. To think that Michael Saylor is a fool and Elon Musk with Tesla is a fool and all of these individuals are fools, that they'd be so foolish to buy something that has no value to it and is a complete zero, and that you are so much more intelligent than Michael Saylor or Chamath Palihapitiya or any of these guys. You're just way more intelligent, Peter, and they're all fools. They haven't studied it. They haven't had their entire team study it. When they park billions upon billions upon billions of dollars in Bitcoin, they haven't studied it at all. They're just complete fools, right, Peter? Including your son, right? All right, that's all I had to say about that. I've just watched that video on Peter Schiff, and we're doing this live, by the way. So I'm now looking at comments, but I want to do this live because clickbait titles 101. Hey, I'm guilty of it too. I'm trying to build my channel. I appreciate everybody that likes my videos, everybody that hits a thumbs up on my videos, everybody that subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate you all because you help get this message out there. But this was that last title that Peter Schiff put out there on Bitcoin when it's people are very nervous, they don't know what's going on, it's pulled back, it's had some bad volatility. I mean, you commented on my video passive aggressively about Bitcoin. Peter Schiff himself with the verified checkmark. Anybody can go back to that video on my channel. It's the one I made on November 17th. And I said Peter Schiff was wrong about Bitcoin back then. Bitcoin was 17,600 on November 17th. So now, Peter Schiff, as he's been wrong, Max Kaiser told him about Bitcoin prior to 1,000 when Bitcoin was in the hundreds. He's been so wrong about Bitcoin. He's probably kicking himself so much that he's just embarrassed at this point. And he wants to put some pep in his step, because it's fallen a bit from the all-time highs. And right now, I mean, it's not exactly falling back. It's still looking like it's right at 50,000. So, I mean, 1 month ago, Bitcoin was 30,000. So yeah, it's fallen off of the $58,000 high. It's holding relatively strong, but it's the same thing that Jim Chanos was doing. Whenever Tesla had a bad day, he'd be out on CNBC in full force trying to beat it when it's down. And I just don't think it's a cool thing to do, especially when you realize that it's like, wait a minute, these are decentralized assets that are on the same team. You got to look at it, you got to deconstruct it from its market cap. We're talking about a $1 trillion asset here that is a very beautiful and elegant system. And when you realize that people want a way to transact online, they want a way to be able to move large amounts of money similar to a wire transfer, but have full control of their funds and not have to trust a bank to hold their funds and do the wire transfer for them. They want to be able to do it. Excuse me. that's all I really had to say about this subject here. I get a little bit riled up when he just constantly continues to bash on Bitcoin, bash on Bitcoin, bash on Bitcoin. You know, I think Michael Saylor hasn't agreed to do a debate with you, Peter, because you haven't come up with a new debate point in 10 years. You just spew the same information and you have no new points at all. This PayPal point is something nobody's even talking about right now. I haven't heard anybody talk about how eBay spun off PayPal, and it shows how much value all of the people of the world put behind being able to do transactions for less costs peer-to-peer. That's what PayPal is. So that shows something that people are driving towards. They want less fees and more control of their money. They want less people like eBay who have 10% fees and take big control of their platform, and they control people with their platform. They want less of that, and they're willing to have less marketing or take on more marketing that they have to do on their end to save themselves those fees that eBay was charging them. So that's how PayPal became worth dramatically more than eBay. And that is why people are continuing to adopt Bitcoin. They want a way to transact online without any central party, and they can take the position of being a reserve bank. And there is a beautiful network established. And if you really think that a Bitcoin can just pop up overnight, Bitcoin number 2 can pop up overnight to compete with Bitcoin, they've been trying really hard. There are many of altcoins out there, and they're not succeeding. So that's the video, everybody. I just wanted to do this because it was just bothering me a little bit. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's it. I just wanted to do this one live and shoot the video real quick because it gets me a little riled up when I constantly see this bashing of Bitcoin, when realistically the real problem is all the fiat currency out there. That's the real problem. And that is where Peter Schiff should direct his energy, not towards stirring up arguments and fights in the Bitcoin community. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. And I will see you at the next video. Signing out. Signing out. And if you're not subscribed, please do click that red subscribe down below and the bell afterwards. Really, really would love to have you in the community. It's completely free to do it. And if you could smash that like button, would really appreciate it if you smash the like button, because it helps get this video out there to more people. You know, that's all I really have to say. Otherwise, I'll just keep rambling on this subject. But those were some of the main points I wanted to address and get out there. I didn't see anybody talking about the PayPal thing, and I talked about that in the live stream prior to this one, but I wanted to make its own separate video. Thank you so much for being here. See you at the next video. Signing out.